Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. Get ready for the main event podcast. The guys are about to go live. All right, Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Phoenix time, 12 noon in Chicago. You know what? The reason why I still have the placard up and nothing else is because we need to do a proper introduction for Adam here. So I created a theme song for him, and let's see it here and everything. It's going to be fantastic. We'll do the theme song first. Here's a story of a lovely lady who was bringing up three very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold, like their mothers.
The youngest one in curls.
Everybody!
It's a story of a man named Brady who was busy with three boys of his own. They were four men living all together, yet they were all alone. Till the one day when the lady met this fellow, and they knew that it was much more than a hunt. That this group must somehow form a family. That's the way we all became the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. That's the way we became the Brady Bunch.
And if that doesn't bring back some awesome memories, we actually have the star of that show, Adam Michaels, with joining us today here with his kids and family members and taking the place of Alice, I see.
Yeah, I took the place to Alice. Seemed to do a lot of dishes, so it worked out fine.
It's so stupid what we just did. I'm sorry, what I just did. I shouldn't lump you into that stupidity.
I'm the one that came up with the background, so you know. I led you down the road.
If I had more time, I would have done it to where like it was next year or whatever. But I literally just sprung on us, and I had to get it going there. But
I got kicked out of Hallis Hall, so I had to find somewhere to go. And the Brady's house was down the street. What do you want me to do?
With their fake grass and everything. Oh gosh. Oh. Last night on the radio show, I started off by saying what an outstanding and great program and how very prestigious fine wines and cheeses is how we do it. And then I instantly go into some lowbrow humor last night, and then today I start off with the Brady Bunch.
Could be worse.
So Adam, it has been roughly 14 hours since we spoke last night. Well, I checked the sound and everything. Tell us how you feel today about your White Sox after you slept on it overnight and all of that.
I mean, look, let's think about this for 1 second. You're only a half game out of first place. It's a new day. things are better. You got Dallas to the bunk this evening. I don't even know why they're playing at 5:10 tonight. Why isn't it a 12 o'clock game? Why am I not in competition with the White Sox at this point? I don't get why there's not a day game, especially on a getaway day. But that's for another time. Hopefully things bounce back today and White Sox can reclaim first place. Lost 4 in a row, but it's a long season in a short season, so it's one of these things where I'm just like hoping for the best. Gonna stay positive, Steve. Gonna get that positivity going and hope for the best. That's what I'm gonna do. And White Sox will win today. I almost guarantee it, Steve. I'm gonna lock it down and call it a guaranteed White Sox victory today. They can't lose today. You got 3 with the Cubs coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Unfortunately, Friday is going to be a tough matchup as they have the Cubs have a great pitcher going to the mound that day. Hugh is going to the mound. Darvish is looking National League, so could aim up a little problem, but who knows? It'll be good, Steve. Sox are going to win the division, but man, I don't even know if I want them to win the division. That's the problem, because I am scared to death of Cleveland after the last 3 days. And the Sox win the division, they get Cleveland in more than likely scenario, and that's not something that I really want to see.
Well, I knocked everything down, so I couldn't hear anything you said until like the last minute there. So hopefully,
it was basically the same stuff I said yesterday. Actually, yeah. Still upset. But.
Well, that's the thing is hopefully you weren't. Hopefully you could see me plugging stuff in and stuff, so you were throwing it back to me or something. All right.
No, I wasn't doing that. I was like, well, we had dead air for about 4 minutes, Steve. I was just like, Steve,
hello. Why are you standing up? And I was like, why did my headphones go off? Why did this happen? I look around and our whole sound connection's on the ground. It's like, okay.
That could be a problem.
It's all right. Just gotta, plug it back in, do a little that, do a little this, do a little that. Intern is, of course, teaching today, and she says on Facebook, just tuned in for a moment while on my prep period and saw this. Wow. So.
Well, I'm glad that we could entertain intern.
Yeah. Well, imagine the shock. Imagine the shock tuning in and seeing the Brady Bunch theme song, and fantastic.
Well, I mean, it's a good time. Nothing wrong with that.
Sound connection,
nostalgia.
On the ground.
It's unprecedented time, Steve, with unprecedented nostalgia.
Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, why not?
That's just fantastic. So, I gotta step up my background game. I just leave it, and I don't really care. But that Brady Bunch one was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoyed myself with that one. It's kind of like my pick of the day. But
I was gonna say, I'm surprised you didn't have Knight Rider on there.
Ooh, Steve, there's always next week. There's always
Monday.
Next week.
It's always Monday.
Yes.
So you touched on it. Obviously, last night on the radio show, you joined me for a little bit, and we discussed the state of baseball, and the White Sox had just lost. And so before I got off the show last night, they didn't have it updated, but they do now have the standings updated, and the White Sox, I heard you say when I got plugged back in, I heard you say the White Sox are going to win the division, but right now they are half a game behind Minnesota.
Yep, half game against the behind the Piranhas of Minnesota. And, I'm not worried, Steve. I mean, we're in the playoffs. Every team hits a rough stretch, and the White Sox have been killing it for the last month and a half. So, that being said...
Hey, but they made the playoffs.
I'm going to stay positive.
They're locked in the playoffs, so that's the key. Nobody's won that division yet. Everybody, I mean, Cleveland's 2.5 games back from Minnesota, so they're 2 games behind the White Sox as well. So they're still in striking it, and they have. Do they have Cleveland again today, or are they off today?
Yeah, they got Cleveland today.
And then the Cubs,
Dallas
right?
Kershaw versus Plesac. It's to the bump this afternoon.
Plesac, yes.
Going to be a good matchup. Good pitching matchup there.
At least Plesac's going today in Cleveland or in the White Sox because, if he went to, if he was in Chicago, then he would go out partying and get suspended.
He'd have to go down to Rush Street and do some things that he's not supposed to do and get in trouble. Get optioned to somewhere. Didn't they option him somewhere for a little bit too?
Yeah, the
To
minor
the,
league. Yeah, just to punish him or whatever. Like, oh,
Right.
and then they
We're gonna
traded,
send you to, I don't know what a fancy suburb is in Cleveland, but we're gonna send you there.
and they punished what's his name, Klobuchar or whatever. They punished him by sending him to a better team in the Padres. So
Right.
yeah, oh, good punishment there. So
So I mean, it's gonna be an interesting weekend for finishing things out here.
so what are your
The
so
Twins
obviously
play the Reds, which is not.
Yep.
I mean, depends what Twin or Red team shows up, I guess.
well the Reds are
Reds are
still
still battling
fighting
for something.
Yeah,
Right.
they are behind. They're tied with St. Louis for that second spot in that division. And St. Louis has Milwaukee this weekend, and Milwaukee's still not out of it. So nobody's getting an easy time this weekend. So yeah, I mean the Reds are going to play because they have to. They either
the Indians have the easy. They have the Pirates for 3 this
yeah.
weekend.
Well, the Cubs
So, I
just
mean-
found out the Pirates aren't that easy.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, the Sox had their number, so that was a good weekend for us. But yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to Sunday at this point, right? I mean, the way I'm seeing it, anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's looking like it. Here's the other thing: is the other side of it is it's kind of bad because they're also going to miss Bauer for Cincinnati this weekend because he pitched last night. So
I have a new respect for Bauer when he did it after
his
checking
video.
out his YouTube channel. I relatively enjoyed it. It was a good time. I sent you the link to it. It was he showed Tim Anderson and all Tim Anderson's like strikeouts against him and stuff. It was really actually kind of funny. I had to say I was laughing about it.
yeah, it's funny because I enjoy that type of stuff, especially because it's between the two of them. Like even Tim Anderson said, "Put me on your YouTube channel." So he's like, "All right, I will."
Right.
That stuff's like funny to me. It's just Trevor Bauer just comes off like, I don't know, too jerkish about it. Like if he wasn't so serious about it, it would be funny,
Yeah, I mean, it was funny to me. I enjoyed it. Gave me a different respect for Trevor Bauer. I enjoyed it.
Well-
Kept me entertained for 14 minutes.
Yeah, well, Trevor Bauer went out last night, struck out 12. He retired 11 in a row in his 8 innings of 1-1 baseball, striking out 12. And so the Reds, of course, beat the Cubs last night. Milwaukee last night, 6-1. So, yeah, that's somebody you want to avoid when you when you have to face him in must-win situations. So,
Yeah, definitely. He is a quality pitcher, no doubt about that at all.
So here's where the playoff standings as of right now, Thursday morning, 10:08 a.m. Phoenix time, noon 08 Chicago time.
Noon 08.
Yeah,
that's a newer one. I
The
like
number
that.
1 seed in the American League is Tampa Bay. Oakland clinches their division's the 2 seed. Minnesota's the 3 seed. White Sox are the 4 seed. Yankees are the 5th seed. Houston's the 6th seed. Cleveland's the 7th seed, and Toronto's the 8th seed as of this moment now. And obviously, we can see some change there. Over this next 3 or 4 days. So you can see some seedings change in the American League. But even at the 4 seed there, like you said, it's not that bad of a seeding for the White Sox.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards wanting that 4th seed at this point. I mean, I don't know. It's just been a rough 3 days in Cleveland, and not feeling really good about it right now.
Not feeling
Their
good.
pitching is good, and they homer when they have to. They don't do much else, but they definitely can homer.
We'll see. I mean, so on Monday when we do our show there at 1 o'clock and review Week 3 of the NFL, we'll also obviously be talking Major League Baseball playoffs as well, since that'll all be situated, that'll all be finalized. It's a day off for baseball before playoffs start with that first best of 3 series. I believe will be starting Tuesday. In the National League this morning, like I said, it could change. Dodgers have the number 1 seed locked up. No ifs, ands, or buts. They're the number 1 seed through baseball. Atlanta's 2. Chicago Cubs are 3. San Diego's 4. St. Louis is 5. Miami's 6. San Francisco's 7. And 8 is Cincinnati as of right now. Philadelphia is nipping at the heels of Cincinnati, though, like I said, and if Milwaukee sweeps this weekend and Cincinnati struggles this weekend, they could even get up into it. So the battle for that 8th seed, the American League's pretty much set, unless the Angels sweep the next 4 games and Toronto loses them all, which I don't think is going to happen. The American League is set. The National League's a little bit more, questionable because Philadelphia can still sneak in and Milwaukee can still sneak in this weekend with 4 games, and what happens with Cincinnati and even San Francisco. The thing I don't like about this, Adam, is like, for instance, okay, I'll just read this. So first place, Dodgers, 39 wins. Second place, 34 wins. Cubs, 32 wins. San Diego, 34 wins. Like, I hate that the second place team has more wins and they're behind the Cubs. And then it gets worse. St. Louis, 27 wins. In 5th place, and then Miami, San Francisco, and Cincinnati all have 28 wins there. So I just hate how the lower seed guys are in front, but I understand how it works because wild card's different than whatever. But I don't like that look at all. I think it's stupid.
It's. I mean, but it goes back. I mean, it's the same in football and stuff. With you can have a division winner with crappier record and then a wild card team. We've seen that before, and I don't know. I'm not too.
Just so you know, because you haven't really seen it, so Royals fans, Orioles fans, Tigers fans, Red Sox fans, and Rangers fans, your teams have been officially eliminated this week. No chance. And then the National League, Washington, your lowly Diamondbacks, and the Pittsburgh Pirates have all been eliminated as well officially this week. So no chances for you guys.
So no bubble, right, Steve? They're gonna no bubble at this point.
Yeah, they said they had
too late, right?
They said they had a deal in place. They said all of that stuff, and then nothing. But they still have time, Adam, because the best of 3 isn't. There's no travel in the first round series for the wild cards. It's best of 3, but they're only playing it at one ballpark. And it's the person with the best thing. So they still have time to go bubble because aren't they technically going bubble if it's a best of 3 and nobody's moving?
They're going small bubble, I guess. I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying they have. I'm just saying they still have some time.
It's just like you're going back through, like I'm going back through timelines and stuff, and it's like Major League Baseball plan set, just need union approval, and that's like September 9th.
And then you've heard nothing about it since. That's the weird thing is they were like, it's definitely set. They just have to agree, and then it was the union agrees on the bubble, and then just quiet, like nothing's been said at all. So. Maybe we'll know. We'll have to know by Monday, right, when the playoffs actually start, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, look at what they did with the. Didn't they approve something right at the beginning of the season too? I mean, like right before.
Well, that's what I mean. We'll have to know Monday sometime at the latest because Tuesday it starts, and it would just be for planning purposes at that point, right? It would, because. That first round, like I said, it can be played in the home ballparks for 3 games. That's not the big deal. But after that, so you would have to know for planning purposes moving forward. But, yeah, maybe we'll see. I don't care either way. I think if this is the year to do a bubble, now's the time to do it. But the other side of it is if they're not going to have a day off, if they're not going to have a day off for the first round, that's official. They voted that in. There's no day offs in the first 3 rounds. How do you have it not in a bubble? Because you have travel days.
Yeah, but they do it all year long, Steve. I mean, in reality, they play 10, 12, 14 games in a row, right?
Yeah, but they play, like when they travel, they play a day game, and then they play like a late night game. So you'd have to have that structured into the playoff system. So
yeah, it'll be interesting what they do as far as like the scheduling and how that all works out and what's fair and what's not fair.
So, your boy Shane Bieber of the Indians is going to win the Cy Young in the American League. I think after last night's performance especially, I think he's got that wrapped up. So, he struck out 10 over.
He looks good. I mean, good quality pitcher, right? I mean, I can't really.
Quality.
I'd like to
put him in the Hall of Fame.
To go against him. Let's not put him in a Mark Burley category at this point, Steve. Let's back it off a little bit. But I'll give him his due. He did well. Like yesterday. Dan, I mean, can't say anything bad about him. I'm trying to find something negative, put him in a negative light, being from the Indians, but I really can't.
Yeah,
He's been great from opening day.
And first year in major leagues, too. So,
yeah,
only place to go is up.
Let's not put him in the hall yet, Steve. Let's back off a little bit.
How many Cy Youngs does Burley have?
Well, yeah, it was a different game back there, Steve. It wasn't an unprecedented season. Things like that. Just let's not get caught up in the stats on that one, okay?
Are you, as I do the Collinsworth slide into my screen again? Are you saying that the only reason Shane Bieber is so good this year as a rookie is because it was an unprecedented season?
No, I'm saying that Mark Burley didn't get the benefit of an unprecedented season to win a Cy Young. That's all I'm trying to get at, Steve.
It sounds like you're saying the only reason he's going to win the Cy Young is because it's an unprecedented season, and he's not going to be this good.
It's not about Bieber. It's about Mark Burley. That's why he didn't get a chance to win the Cy Young.
Okay, I just listened closely in my headphones, and it sounds like you're saying
I would stop.
Shane Bieber's only good because it was a shortened season.
What I said. I'm telling you exactly what has been said.
Let me listen. I'm going to close my eyes and listen to the words coming out of your mouth. Go.
Okay, Mark Burley did not win a Cy Young because he didn't have a unprecedented short season. That's all I'm saying.
You're definitely saying Shane Bieber is winning the Cy Young because of the shortened, unprecedented season. All right.
That's not what I said, Steve. Why do you always got to try and put words in my mouth? I did not say that at all, but,
I was
if that's
listening.
What you want to infer, if that's what you want to infer, feel free.
I was listening closely. I was checking it out. I had you repeat it several times, so I made sure I heard the words coming out of your mouth. And it was Shane Bieber's only good because it was a shortened season.
That's not what I said, but that's what you heard. You got that selective hearing again, so I'll just let it go.
It's so funny. Just keep going with it. So what's the magic number for the Twins? Do you know to win the division? Any idea?
I want to say it's got to. Well, I mean, it's probably got to be 3.
Well, that's what I was going to. Well, obviously, it could go down. Obviously, today if Twins win and White Sox lose, but
right.
But yeah, it's got to be at least 3 at this point, right? I was trying to find it and I couldn't find it.
The magic number thing is kind of hard to find, but magic. I found it for the playoffs.
Well, I mean, it's the magic number is at least 4 because there's 4 games left. So if they win out 4,
right,
they're in. So the magic number's got to be 4 right now. Yeah, because if they win out, they get the first place. Because obviously you can't beat them if they win out, and they're in first place now. So I bet you it's 4.
That makes sense.
I just did main event math though, so I could be way off. Because
Twins' magic number is that was to get in the playoffs. Sorry, that was 6 days ago.
It's got to be 4. It has to be because they have the lead now. And there's 4 games left, and you don't know who's played what today. So
yeah,
it's got to be.
Still kind of looking. Hold on. As of yesterday, the White Sox magic number was 4, but then they lost. So it's got to be 3. It's got to be 4. You're right. It's got to be 4.
Let me. Well, go ahead and double check me. It is math, but let me torture you some more here.
You gotta do that, Steve.
I'm just gonna show you Bauer outage here from last night. This guy's windup is so powerful. Like I get why he strikes so many people out and everything. I just hope he can keep it up. So let me show you. It's just a quick 10-second clip here. So let me show everybody this here. First of all, crowd noise is phenomenal right there. The crowd is totally into that game. They are screaming their heads off. But that's why Bauer's awesome, man. He throws a whatever.
I mean, but that intensity. I love the intensity, Steve.
But then he screams,
the fire and the passion,
and then he stares him down as he walks up. That's what I like about Bauer is he's a quirky guy. He's a little out there. He's a little weird. But he does that stuff, and he doesn't care. He's like Tim Anderson. I even called Tim Anderson out on that video you posted, you sent me, where he was like, I'm disappointed he didn't do the bat flip. because he
Yeah.
enjoys that
Well-
because he knows he does it and he's okay. If you get me, flip the bat. I don't care,
Flip the bat, right? Well, and I think he was like, and Tim Anderson said that he was gonna flip the bat. I think
Yeah,
that's what kind of made Bauer say that, which was funny. I mean, it was good time.
Well, he
right?
said he was going to flip the bat because he's so hard to hit. So if he gets one on Trevor Bauer, he's like, I got to flip the bat
I gotta
because
flip
you're
the bat,
so hard to
right.
hit. And then he jacks the home run and doesn't do it. But that's what I like about Bauer is he doesn't sit there and talk tough like that and do things like I just showed you guys where he screams off. But he does that stuff. But then he's okay if you do it back to him. Like he's not going to go. He's not going to go to the press and complain about how you're staging him up and all of that garbage. You know what I mean? So
No, he's definitely not. So
that's what I like about him. He did get injured, I believe, yesterday in the first inning against the Angels for the Padres. So Cleveland must have got rid of him just in the right enough time.
you never want to see injuries, Steve. Never want to see that.
Well, you never do, but. I mean, I don't think that diminishes San
right
Diego's
now, I would like to
chances.
see some Indians get injured, but I'm not going to say that. I'm not above it, Steve. Not above it.
You're hoping some Cowboys come along and get rid of some of those Indians for you?
Hey, if that could happen, let's get it done.
Cowboys and Indians reference there.
I got a couple on the somebody named Ramirez. I wouldn't mind seeing. Not hurt for a long time. Just maybe 3-4 days would be fine.
Just until the playoffs
Just
are up.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he can feel fine. Come October 1st, feel fine. I have no problem with it. But what's really sad about Major League Baseball in the playoffs is the national broadcast I'm going to end up getting from TBS with fourth name reporters and all sorts of stuff. I never liked it. They don't let me have my regular announcers. It's very sad.
If you listen to the radio, you get your regular announcers.
I'm not a fan of the radio call right now. Not a fan of it right now.
Who does the radio
Doesn't,
broadcast for the?
Andy, I can't remember what his name. His first name's Andy, and Darren Jackson does the color commentary, and it's not a good listen.
No bueno.
It's not. But what would have been funny the other night when Angel Hernandez was on the behind home plate and all hell was breaking loose. If Hawk would have been on the call that night, he might have had a heart attack.
So I'm sitting on, I filled in on the blender for Randy on Tuesday, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, why is Angel Hernandez? I go, oh no. First I go, so we're on the air, and I just look at it, I see it, and I'm like, oh man, Angel Hernandez is, is trending. This isn't good. So then a break comes, and I go, oh, I wonder why Angel Hernandez is thing. And I can't remember who it was, but it was Jeffrey Kaler was like, he's probably making bad calls. And I clicked on it. And the first picture I saw was a pitch that was literally like 2 feet off the ground, like way outside. And he called it a strike. And I was like, oh, man, that sucks for whoever's playing today. And then I looked, it was the White Sox. And I was like, oh, Adam's blood pressure. It's got to be going through the roof.
Oh, yeah, I was not a happy camper. That is to say the least on that one. But
So Autumn says, Adam looks like me when I was doing my virtual teaching. Because, if you don't, first of all, Adam, I don't think you looked as bad as Autumn did. Because she looked like she was in a hostage situation. She had like a bare wall behind her, that look but it was like a dark gray color, so it looked like a hostage video where they can't have anything, so you can decipher where they're at, and everything. But yeah, so that's Autumn's little comment about your Brady Bunch intro there.
My Brady Bunch. I've moved on to Guaranteed Rate Field to get in one with the White Sox because something's got to change, Steve.
Yep. So Mikkel, of course, all access crew. Mikkel says. Jake Lamb's going to the playoffs. Take that, D-backs. Which I actually, as much as I've been tweeting lately about how good Jake Lamb's been doing and everything, I completely forgot he was going to the playoffs and the Diamondbacks weren't. So I actually agree with that take 1,000%. And really quick, Mikkel, I did email you the football picks this week. So get those back to me so I can do the graphic. And you can complain about how bad your picks are this week when you don't pick well again to us.
Speaking of picks, I just remember that I have to do my picks for the Blender League.
Yep, I was going to remember if you're doing the gridiron picks on the 1580 The Fanatic, Don't forget to do that today. Don't go off to the side without remembering to do that. At least pick the Thursday night game. And then Mikkel also says, "Go ahead. What? You first."
What are you doing for tonight's game? Ooh, I don't
Watching
even know where to go.
watching the basketball game.
Well, I won't be able to watch the game either, but I just trying to figure out where I'm going to go on that
Eh,
one. Wow.
I didn't even look if I know it's NFL Network, but I don't know if it's being simulcast. A lot of them, most of them are simulcast either on CBS or Fox. Last week that wasn't the case, but I don't know if it is this week or not. But.
Did you? I noticed ESPN had or ABC had Monday Night Football. It was on ABC this week, too.
Also,
That was a different thing. Yeah, they were broadcasting on it. It was on the local ABC affiliate here. And it was a game that wouldn't have been it's not.
But
like
I wonder if that was because of the Raiders. Because they're okay. So the NFL's weird, right? So now that the Raiders are in Vegas, we might be close enough that one of the TV stations, local stations, like when the Cardinals play Monday Night Football on ESPN, they also show it on a local channel.
Well, no, right out there, yeah. But I'm just saying, here in Chicago, there would be no reason for the Raiders or the Saints to be on ABC.
Oh, I forgot you were in Chicago. Good point. I see what you're saying. I don't think it was that way
it was
here.
just
I
weird
don't know.
to see that they were on. Like I was scrolling through stuff on Hulu, and I'm like, wait, this is the ABC affiliate. Huh, interesting.
Yeah, but it might have
Maybe
just
it's just because there's lack of programming that they just do it now. Right?
Or if you're on Hulu, they might have just put it on the Hulu channel for Hulu. You know what I mean? That channel for Hulu instead of, you know what I mean?
No, because I had ESPN. I had it on both of those too.
Well, gosh darn it, Adam, I don't know.
Let's find out about it, Steve. Let's get some investigative reporting on it. I need to know.
Go
I
ahead.
could just probably Google it.
Yeah, I would say you go ahead. You start on that process and you let us know what the result is because I don't think anybody else cares.
I care, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else has to care somewhere.
Well, when you find them, when you find them, you guys figure it out, and then you let the rest of us know.
Fine. You always have to be mad.
So,
You always have to hurt my feelings.
So Mikkel also says, "Is there any truth to the rumor on the street?" There's rumors, Adam. Rumors.
Rumors on the streets. Uh-oh.
The main event podcast was moved to weekdays, so intern can't make it because she became more popular than Steve and Adam.
Ooh. I don't think so.
First of all, it can't be a rumor if it's true. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, well,
Just
It
throwing
might
it
have
out there.
I don't like to admit to that type of stuff, but it might have happened.
No, absolutely not. There's no truth to that rumor. You got spoiled, Mikkel, because intern is a teacher, and she didn't have to teach from middle of March until a few weeks ago. So, due to the unprecedented times we're in, as Adam likes to say, so you got spoiled because. She was able to make it a lot more because she didn't have to teach and everything. Yeah. So now we're back to real life issues, and that's kind of gone by the wayside. So she's got little snotty kids in her classroom now. So she doesn't hang around me very much anymore because I'm a germaphobe, and I have 2 kids of my own. I don't need her 20 kids
Steve,
bringing
those are
stuff.
the future. Those are the future of America, Steve.
Okay, well, they're still snot raggers. Carrying around their Rona and their gross flu and their disgusting. I'm trying to think of stuff. I can't. I can't
You're just
make fun
being
of them.
mean-hearted.
I know. I mean, she teaches at Gilbert Public Schools, a district here in town. That place, ew, icky. Ew, Gilbert. Ugh. Ugh.
You Mesa snob, you.
Ugh. Ugh. Well, I went to Mesa Public Schools, and my kids go to Queen Creek, and we wouldn't wish Gilbert Public Schools on anybody, not even our worst enemies.
Yeah, see, I don't know the area well enough to have an opinion on that either way, so I'll just defer to you.
I'm going to get an angry text here at some point later on, so let's move on.
You sure are.
Let's move on.
Yes, moving on.
So, Adam, let's get into it, man. Football. This week, of course, we had our pick'em last night on the show. Should we go over it? Raiders at Patriots. You had the Patriots, and I had the Patriots. Cardinals and Lions. We all had the Cardinals. Bears and Falcons. You and me had the Bears. I think Kaler did also. Or did he have the Falcons? He had the Falcons.
No, he went with the Falcons
Yeah.
on that one.
He had the Falcons. I better make a note on that. Oop, sorry, let me cheat here. Packers, Saints. We all had the Packers, and then Ravens, Chiefs. We all had the Ravens. You want to change your picks at all, Adam?
No, I'm locked in this week, Steve. Feeling good about it. 9-1 overall. Tied for first place. You know what? I have first place. Not even gonna say tied.
Well,
I'm feeling good.
if you get first place solo, that is going to be the most awesomest thing ever, since we have the exact same picks. That means something goes. That means something goes haywire for my picks if you get first place solo without a tie.
Well, overall, I could get first place solo, Steve. Overall, because you have more losses than I do. You're third.
No, you're right.
So I'm just saying.
I'm
Not
still-
that I can do math, but my math tells me I'm in good shape.
And then, of course, the All Access crew, Mikkel and intern are picking picks also. Hopefully they can step up their game a little bit after a good first week. They both kind of struggled last week. Yeah, I'm calling out the crew. Yeah, I am. Talking to you guys. So tonight, Adam.
If you're not gonna, if you can't step your game up, we're gonna have to trash you on that. I mean, there's nothing I can do on that.
We've been nice so far.
Numbers don't lie, Steve. Numbers don't lie.
No, because there's going to be a week where I'm going to go like 1-4 or something like that. It always happens.
Don't we throw the worst week out? We just throw it away like it never happened.
Well, we talk about it for a second and then we stop talking about it until everybody makes fun of me. But
Unless I'm 4-1, unless I'm 5-0, 4-1, it didn't happen as far as I'm concerned.
Right, exactly. Like, well, I don't know what you guys are talking about. So
I wasn't even here that day.
let's get into it, Adam. Let's get into some football. National Football League.
Football.
We are ready. Who do you have tonight? Jacksonville Jaguars, Miami Dolphins. You have Fitzmagic versus Minshew Mania. Who do you got tonight, Adam? I'm just curious. Is this the most exciting quarterback matchup you're looking forward to this weekend?
No, but it's one of these games where I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm gonna do. Not gonna say that. I'm leaning towards the Jaguars at this point. That's where I'm going. I think I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
I think the Jaguars are winning this game. But here's the write-up, just so you know. Here's the write-up on NFL.com, and I get a little chuckle out of this because they're obviously trying to find something positive to say. The Dolphins and Jaguars both installed new offenses on Zoom this offseason. They both have resourceful quarterbacks. The difference is that the Jags offensive coordinator, Jay Gruden, apparently mastered the art of distance learning and enjoys a promising array of young talent. So they bring up Jay Gruden's mastering the art of distance learning as a plus for tonight and why the Jaguars are going to win this game tonight. So, yeah. They were struggling to find reasons for people to watch this game. In a game, Adam, where both defenses don't inspire confidence, Gardner Minshew is playing too well to pick against. So this write-up is just great because they're trying to find positive things to say, and they just can't. You're muted. I'm like, I see you moving. What?
Yeah, I was moving. My best thoughts come out when I hit the mute button.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm totally lost on what I was going to say.
Just like I look the best when there's no camera on. I know.
Yeah, exactly. That there's no doubt about that. But yeah, I'm looking for a reason why the Dolphins could win this game, and I can't find it. So I'm going to go with Jaguars. It's kind of a game that I don't really care, but since I have to make a pick, I'm going to go with the Jaguars in this one. And
it doesn't count toward anything.
I like what I've seen out of them so far.
Yep. So what other games this weekend are you looking forward to? Obviously, we got our 5 picks. We've already picked those. Are you looking forward to the Steelers-Texans? Do you think the Texans have any chance this weekend against the Steelers?
No, Pittsburgh's been clicking on all cylinders and has looked really good in their first 2 games. The Texans, I feel, are similar. Where not, it's like they're 0-2.
What other games this weekend are you looking forward?
They're they're not a terrible team. You know, the schedule hasn't.
Are you
been
looking
help-
forward to the
hasn't been
Steelers
helpful
Texans?
for them at all? And I don't see it getting any better this week because Pittsburgh's looked really good.
Yeah, I don't think it's in there. I think Pittsburgh is in the conversation with the Chiefs and the Ravens right now for best in the AFC. No doubt about that. Yeah, and I mean, it's just I called it at the beginning of the season where I just thought the Texans were going to start 0-3. I originally was thinking 0-4, but the way the Vikings are playing, they get a reprieve in next week. But exactly. The question is, I mean, Deshaun Watson is the league's most sacked quarterback. His whole offensive line has got awful. Now you've got T.J. Watt, the better of the Watt brothers today. You know, not overall. JJ's had the better career so far, obviously, being a little older. But they got to go up against T.J. Watt, who's the best run rusher in the NFL. So JJ gets to watch his younger brother dominate against his own offense this week. The Steelers have 73 pressures through the first 2 weeks. That is crazy amount of quarterback pressures they have, right? Now, both offenses, it's not going to be a high-scoring affair because both offenses are really struggling. I think it's going to be a closer game than you think it's going to be. It's not going to be a huge blowout, but the Steelers are going to win this by 7 or 12 points, I think, but whatever.
Well, I mean, for me, the problem with the Texans has been the defense. You know, they're averaging giving up 198 yards a game on the ground.
Yeah.
So they're getting thrown around like nothing out there.
And you got James Conner going out there, and, you know, he's a solid running back that can run it and put up some yardage. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's going to be another tough week for Houston. They just got to get through this week and try to regroup. Does the Eagles have any chance to beat the Bengals this weekend and log their first victory?
No, I think it's time for the rookie to get his first W, right? I mean, it's easy pickings right here for him, right?
My issue on this is your gut tells you to go Philadelphia because you expect Philadelphia to come out of whatever funk they're in. But they lost to the Washington football team that might be a worse team than the Bengals are, at least initially going into the season. And the Bengals have put up some serious points and some serious scoring these first couple of weeks. And Burrow's definitely a composed type of quarterback. So, yeah, on this one, I don't know. I tend to agree with you. I might lean towards Cincinnati. But then again, I picked Cincinnati the last 2 weeks and got burned by them. They haven't been able to pull out the victory. So,
yeah, I've locked in my my pick for Cincinnati this week. Haven't gone with them up until now, but I just have a feeling it's going to be Joe Burrow, and he's going to continue to impress. And the Eagles have just looked bad.
I mean, their offensive unit currently ranks dead last in efficiency.
And when you have the Chicago Bears in the same league, that's not good.
Or exactly right. Or the Vikings, because the Vikings have looked. More importantly, or the Jets. Yeah. So yeah.
Jets, Jets. Let's go Jets.
But here's the problem: is the Eagles still have something to play for because if they win this weekend and go to 1-2, they could be tied for first place, depending what the other teams do for this weekend. They could be leading the division at 1-2 this weekend.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
So here's my biggest question mark of the game this weekend. I wanted to ask your opinion. This is a huge question mark for me.
All right.
Because originally, with all the injuries that the 49ers had last week, I would have gone with the Giants this weekend to sneak out a victory on there. But the Giants lost Saquon Barkley. We're still waiting to hear on Sterling Shepard, the best receiver they have, but he's probably out, or he's going to be limited role because of his turf toe. So do I go with the Giants this weekend? Do you beat the Niners in a very low-scoring affair? Because, of course, the Niners have their backup quarterback starting, whatever that clown's name is. It doesn't even matter. Their starting running back's not playing. Of course, Bosa's out on the defensive side. The Giants,
out.
Yeah, the Giants looked really good last week after Saquon went out in that second half, but it was the Bears. There's my little jab at the Bears. You're welcome, Adam. So I would have picked the Giants to sneak this victory out just because of those, but now with the Giants injuries, do we still have enough guts to go with the Giants this weekend? Or do we think the Niners are going to be able to squeak this one out?
I'm leaning towards the Niners still. You know, I liked what I saw out of the out of the Giants in the fourth quarter, but I hated what I saw out of the Bears defense, so I don't know what was better or what was worse at that point. And the 49ers, but they have so many injuries. This is another tough one.
You have Nick
Another tough
Mullins.
game.
Nick Mullins, who? Starting for the 49ers this weekend.
He knows the system, Steve.
Nick Mullins. Hey, did you hear me? Nick
Yeah, I heard you.
Mullins.
They're still favored by 4.5 with all the injuries, Steve. I mean, what's Vegas know that we don't know?
I'm still leaning toward Giants on this one. I really am. I don't know. I'm going to have to think hard about this, but I'm leaning Giants to upset the 49ers this weekend and get their first victory. You know why, Adam? Because Joe Judge made them run laps when they screwed up in practice. He had them recovering fumbles in the mud to show how gritty the Giants are. What the crap ever. It's because the Niners are awful right now. So
I went the opposite of you. I did lock in on the 49ers. So
I haven't locked anything yet. I'm just rambling on right now. I haven't locked anything in. I'm just getting other people's opinions.
I'm just letting you know what I did, Steve. I locked in. I'm locked in.
You're going Niners. Plus, it would be just awesome to see the Niners, just suck. It would just be fantastic. Patriots Raiders. I have the Patriots winning this one fairly easily, even though the Raiders did look good on Monday night. I'm really impressed. I mean, New England went toe-to-toe with Seattle over the weekend, and I think the Patriots are going to blow the Raiders out this weekend. What say you?
I don't think it's going to be a blowout, Steve. I think it'll be probably about a touchdown. But I definitely think New England's going to win. I like I'm still in Coach Belichick's fan club, and Cam's got a full offense to play with there, and I'd love to be able to knock on wood and tell Coach I'm with him, but I'm gonna have to stay away from him this week. He's gonna be upset with me.
I mean, in my opinion, of all the 2-0 teams, the Raiders are the worst 2-0 team out there. Well, your other option is the Bears, so you pick the Bears. I'll stick with the.
Yeah. Hey, but they're your first place Chicago Bears, Steve. That's what I'm going to tell you this week.
So, do the Vikings have any chance to turn it around against the Titans? I say no. I think the Vikings are in a free fall.
No shot at all.
I think the Vikings are in a free fall. I think they've messed with Kirk Cousins' head too much on the offensive side. He's thinking too much back there. That defense lost 10 starters, and I thought they'd be able to rebound with the talent they have, but even they're struggling out there. It's just the Vikings safeties with those young cornerbacks don't know how to do it because they're having to fix their mistakes back there. Derrick Henry's coming. Derrick Henry's coming to town, but he's on one of my fantasy teams, and he's not running the ball very well right now, not getting a ton of points on there. But this might be the week Derrick Henry wakes up and gets a bunch of them. So I agree. I think Vikings are in trouble again this week. Is this the worst game of the weekend besides tonight, Browns and Washington football team?
Tonight's a bad one. Yeah, I mean, it probably is. I mean, yeah, there's not much to look forward to in this one, is there?
Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Washington, Cleveland.
Well, I don't know why you said it like that.
Well, Washington, Cleveland could be a terrible game to watch. I have no desire to watch that game.
I'm probably going to pick the Browns because the Browns should win this game, but I'm not going to be surprised if Washington does beat this game. That's because I have no faith in Baker Mayfield. I have no faith. But Nick Chubb, knowing what the Cardinals did in Washington last week with very little running game till late in the game, imagine what Nick Chubb's going to do against the Washington football team. He's going to have 400 yards rushing. So, are the Rams for real? They got the Bills this weekend. Are the Rams for real? Can they go 3-0 and give the Bills their first loss, or what?
No, I'm still a firm believer in the Mafia in Buffalo, and I'm going to stick with Buffalo in this week. It's a good. They're a good team, Steve, and I have more faith in them than I do their opponent at this point.
Mikel says on the Facebook Live, he says Bengals win. So there we go. And Niners have a better running game right now. They win. But do they have a better running game?
Okay, hold on. Wait, hold on. So wait, he said that. Who did he say was going to win? The
Bengals.
Bengals are going to win.
Yeah.
All right, so let me click Philadelphia here. Okay, and what was that other prediction? Sorry, what else was there?
He said the Niners have a better running game. You're fading Miguel's picks.
But hold on. Okay, so is he actually saying the Niners are going to win?
He said they win.
Or is
Yeah,
this-
no, he said the
All right, so,
Niners
okay.
will win.
All right, Giants. Okay, now my picks are locked in. Thanks, Miguel. I appreciate the help.
You're so mean. You're so mean.
I'm a
I don't-
heel, Steve.
Is Mossert playing this weekend? I thought he was out. So do the Niners have a better running game?
Man, they're. I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be it's a battle of the backups again, right? I mean, he's not playing, is he?
I'm
Last
looking
time I
at
saw, he was out.
because he had I thought it was an MCL history. So I'm looking real quick here. Give me a second. Give me an uno momento, por favor. Yeah, Mossert's out. So, I mean, last year the 49ers
Kittle's
running
out
backs.
too, so
Is Kittle officially out?
trending that way.
Kittle could have played last week, but yeah, because they don't want him to play on that artificial turf. That's why he didn't play last week. They didn't want him out
Right.
there on that artificial turf. So yeah. So all right, so he's out there. Adam's fading your picks, Mikel. I don't know how you feel about that, but good luck to both of y'all. See what happens. What about you're going with the Bills? You think the Bills are the real deal, and you think the Rams are kind of a fake 2-0 team right now?
Yeah, I do. I've been behind Buffalo since the start of the year, and I don't think a reason. There's nothing that tells me that they can't get this done this weekend.
So this weekend, Adam, we obviously know who you're picking in this one, but I've seen a lot of people saying the Falcons are going to win this weekend. But here's a stat for you that is going to be very interesting to watch. The last two quarterbacks to face the Falcons defense, meaning the last 2 weeks, they both won NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Are we going to see a Mitch Trubisky Offensive Player of the Week award next week for Mitchell Trubisky?
I'm going to go with the streak is going to end it too, Steve. I don't even know if you call it a streak or a trend or what you want to call it, but I would confidently say that you would not see that being a 3 in a row. I don't know what the Vegas line is on it, but I'm guessing I'm not a believer in that.
So Matt Ryan's playing as good as possible right now. He for an 0-2 team. So here's the question I got. I mean, I picked the Bears this weekend. You picked the Bears this weekend. That's just because I refuse to bet on the Falcons for anything. I will go down swinging on that. But I can honestly see the Falcons winning this game. If onside kicks don't happen, the Falcons could possibly pull this out. Just saying.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, Steve. It wouldn't be in. This is a game the Bears must win. If there's a must win still on the schedule right
They're
now,
2-0, Adam.
Steve, the schedule's brutal. You know it's coming. The problems are coming. They're starting with. It's a little problem in Atlanta. So, and it's funny you hear people talk about, well, they're going to the Mercedes Superdome. It's hard to play that. Well, there's still no fans there.
No. But well, I mean the Falcons' offensive line's been playing really well. Matt Ryan's been kept upright. And this is going to be the best defense that the Falcons are going to face in the first 2 weeks. So I'm expecting for the Bears to win. Robert Quinn, Mack, and who's the other guy? Hicks, right? Hicks, is that right? Yep. They need to have a huge game this week and get to Matt Ryan in order for it to continue. So we will see how that goes.
Robert Quinn has to take more than 28 snaps on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm definitely looking for some more playing time out of him. When he was in the game, they were able to cause some disruption. So I liked what I saw when he was in the game with Mack and Hicks. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. And hopefully Mitch can come out and play like he did in the first 2 quarters against the Giants.
So how good is Justin Herbert going to look this weekend when he plays the Carolina Panthers? He looked good last week with 5 minutes notice that he was going to start and play. How good is he going to look this week against the Carolina Panthers without McCaffrey?
I think he's going to look good, Steve. Like I said, I liked what I saw all along when he was through the Hard Knocks series on HBO. Came in, is just the third quarterback ever to have 300-plus yards rushing or passing and then a rushing touchdown in his first NFL game behind Cam Newton and Otto Graham. So the Panthers don't look – they haven't looked bad, but I still like what I see out of the Chargers, and I think that this kid's the real deal.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I thought he would be a fairly good, serviceable quarterback, especially in his situation. He's got the best team around him for rookie quarterbacks, so I thought he would be all right. I didn't expect to see him this early, but I was impressed last week. Now we need to see how he reacts. So he's great under pressure, right, with 5 minutes to go to play. But we have to see how he does with a week of warming up and everything. So are the Colts going to pull a week one and lose to what is perceived as the worst? The difference is everybody thought the Jaguars were going to be the worst team. Turns out they're not. They're actually fairly decent. They can put up a fight. But now they are playing the worst team in the National Football League and the Jets. Are the Colts going to pull a week one and lose this, or are they just they're going to win?
No, the Colts are definitely going to win this game. There's no doubt about it. You definitely saw more out of the Colts last week than you did in week one. Week one was kind of like an anomaly, I think, for the Colts. Jonathan Taylor, and it's just, I like what the Colts are able to do on the ground, and
just so it doesn't come from me and I bag on Adam Gase some more, I'm just going to read the paragraph here from NFL.com regarding this game. Are you ready?
I read this one. Yes, I'm ready.
The Jets found their left tackle for the next decade in Mekhi Becton, who is making blah 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 blah. There's virtually nothing else positive to say about Gang Green, the one NFL club I don't expect to be competitive on a weekly basis until proven otherwise. Like most Adam Gase teams, these Jets try to win with 7-yard completions, which they can't even complete those. This game is going to be a blowout. The offensive genius, as the ownership in New York calls Adam Gase, is going to continue to look like he's never coached a football game in his life, and he doesn't even know what football is. This is going to be a destruction, and we're going to continue to have Adam Gase is going to get fired watch after this week.
Okay, so do you have that video of you running, Steve, in the parking lot still? Because there's a quote here that says, it's gotten to the point where Coach Adam Gase is just searching for warm bodies. Who's ever got a pulse right now, we're ready to go. I think you should DM him that video, Steve, and you could be in the starting lineup this Sunday.
He would only allow me to go in if I have a pulled hammy, and then he would put me back in.
Well, that should only take a place, Steve, so you'll be ready to roll.
Are you kidding me? That would be walking into the stadium. What are you talking about, man? Wouldn't even make it to warm-ups yet. Okay, be like, where's the trainer's office? What do you need them for? Man, my hamstring's a little tight walking in here today.
The sideline reporter be like, we got a lace scratch.
The only question mark that we have on the Jets moving forward is just, why is Adam Gase still allowed in the building? Why does his key card still work? And when is it going to stop working? Just for the love of God, I'm not even a Jets fan. It put me out of my misery of having to talk about how bad he is, So, Seahawks, Cowboys. Any chance? I didn't put this. I had this on our picks list, but I took it off because there's so many good games this week. But man, Seattle looked really good on Monday night. We have the MVP of the league so far is Russell Wilson. Cowboys looked god-awful in the first half against Atlanta. They only won that game last week because Atlanta had some brain fart in the second half, like they always do. Is Seattle beating the Cowboys this weekend?
Seattle's destroying the Cowboys this weekend. Russell Wilson has just looked phenomenal. And the Cowboys could say, they can – all the Cowboys, their big comeback victory. No, that was just an Atlanta collapse. That wasn't a comeback victory. That was Atlanta saying here, we don't want to win this game. The defense for the Cowboys has not looked good, and Russell Wilson is just going to pick them apart.
So the synopsis on this one is, and I don't agree with this at all. I don't know what these guys are watching with the Seahawks. So the Seahawks have played practically perfect football the first 2 weeks. Even when Russell Wilson made a mistake last week and gave up a pick six to start the game, they almost still played a perfect game. That's how good they are playing right now. And they say, the synopsis says, these teams are emblematic of the NFL in the early 2020. The offenses are on schedule. The defenses have no pass rush. The development is more surprising in Dallas, considering Jerry Jones' defensive investments up front. That will be a huge problem against Russell Wilson, who's off to a near-perfect start to the season. The problem, and then it says, the Cowboys' offense is too diverse to be held down by a Seattle defense that looks ordinarily despite its big names. This is another test of how the Seahawks will let Russ cook because the Dallas team is eminently attackable through the air. My problem with this is Cowboys' offense is not too diverse. They're very one-dimensional. Dak is doing nothing. They're very conservative. I don't know what these guys are watching for the Cowboys. There's no guesswork on where the ball's going. It's a Mike McCarthy offense. It's very sad. Yes, Seattle gets no pass rush, but against Dak, you don't need pass rush because you just get to him and make him scramble out of the pocket, and then you're going to be standing there to make the tackle. I don't know what games these guys are watching, but Seattle's winning this game, and they're going to dominate this game also.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. We've been high on Seattle all year. It's been 3 weeks, but been high on Seattle. And,
sell it, man. Sell it. We go all the way back to week one.
Well, all the way back. I mean, we're going way back, Steve. I mean, it's been almost 4 podcasts since we've been on that whole bandwagon and staying there for another couple weeks for sure.
We got Tampa Bay Broncos. I mean, Tampa Bay should win this one, right? Because all the Broncos, backup quarterback starting for the Broncos. Cortland Sutton's out for the lost ACL. He's out for the year. You're stuck with basically 2 rookie wide receivers in Denver. Nick Fangio is a god-awful head coach. Once Adam Gase goes and Bill O'Brien goes, Fangio is going to be my next guy to pick on because I just don't think he has head coaching material. I'm giving him some time, of course, a little bit more slack, but he's just not very good. So
I just don't think that you have a love for ex-Chicago Bears coordinator, Steve. I mean, that's all I can see at this one. I mean, you're picking on Adam Gase. Now you're moving on. It's like you already have Adam Gase out the door, so now it's like, who's the next ex-Bear coordinator I can pick on?
Am I picking on Bears coordinators that are head coaches, or are they just all so goddamn horrible that they're just easy pickings? What comes first, the chicken or the egg?
They're ex-Bears coaches for a reason, Steve.
Yeah, well, they got promoted to leave it, right? Of course, we had Cardinals-Lions. We already discussed that one. Everybody has the Cardinals winning this one. Green Bay, I'm just expecting the Cardinals to do what they've been doing on offense and especially on defense. Matt Stafford, and that secondary is just got to shut down the receivers of Detroit, and they'll be all right. Packers, Saints.
Can I pick a tie in that game?
If you want to.
No, I don't want to.
Officially, you have the Cardinals winning. Unofficially, you can call a tie, yes. So, Ravens-Chiefs. I mean, we all have the Ravens winning this game. Give us a little insight on what you're thinking here.
For me, have not been impressed. I mean, the Chiefs are 2-0, but I haven't been impressed with their offensive production at this point, and I have been so impressed with Baltimore's defense. And Lamar Jackson's been good this year. This is a AFC championship game in week 3, Steve. And all eyes are going to be on this on Monday night. It's going to have the ratings. I'm not a huge Monday night guy by that point, but this game will have my attention. I'll be locked in for it. And there's no Major League Baseball, so it's got my attention.
I wish this was the Sunday night game just because I like the Al Michaels booth better than the Monday night booth. But I agree. If you're not watching this game on Monday night, you're not a football fan or you're at work, either one. The Ravens have been the NFL's best team so far this year. No ifs, ands, buts about it. You don't expect it to stop this weekend. This game's going to be tougher. But let's be honest, the Chiefs' offense has not been clicking on all cylinders, and that's going to be the difference in this game. It's going to be an entertaining game. It's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be a great game to watch. You're going to see flashes of things that you just never seen before. Either team wins this one, it's not going to be bad at all. I'm thoroughly looking forward to this. You're right. This is playoff atmosphere. This is what we're looking forward to in the playoffs. And this is what we're all looking forward to at the end of the year. This is going to be fantastic to watch. So I'm excited about this. 1,000, 100,000%. So
yeah, it's gonna be. I'm hoping it's kind of like that Seattle 49ers games that we watched last year. That's the buzz I have for this game right now.
So Mikkel has Patriots.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me get my picks up here, Steve. Hold on, Patriot. Okay, all right. So Raiders. Okay, go ahead.
So he has Patriots, Cardinals, Packers, Ravens. He's on board with all of us on that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to change my picks on those because I feel that I'm solidly behind those picks. So
He has the Falcons.
I'm going to stay the course.
He has the Falcons.
Well, that's good for the Bears. I'm going to call my bookie right now. Oh wait,
Yeah,
I'm in Illinois. I can just go to
Yeah.
DraftKings.com and I
Yeah.
can bet it right now.
So Mikkel and Kaler have the Falcons. Intern gives me her picks later on today when she gets done with teaching. So I'll have hers later on. I'll get those posted this weekend like we always do. But yeah, so he says you're so funny, Adam. But I mean, he's been burned by the Bears. You know, he picks against the Bears last 2 weeks and everything. So you know, it's just funny to pick on that. But the NFL stuff here. You know, after this week, we need to we'll sit down and talk about who's still 0-2, who's 2-0, and we'll pick more because right now there's 11 teams that are 0-2, I think, and a lot of teams, and it's hard to say who's what after week 2, especially this year. So next week on Monday, we'll sit down and we'll decide which 0-2 teams are really that bad, or if it's just a fluke or what. But here's my question of the day, Adam, for NFL:
I'm ready.
Could all 4 NFC West teams make the playoffs? Cardinals,
No, because
Rams,
no.
Seahawks, and Niners.
No, but I could see 3 of them making it, right? 4 would be hard, Steve. 4 would be really hard.
At the beginning of the
Because you play each
season,
other 2 times each.
yeah, at the beginning of the season, I said 3 out of the 4 were going to go. We're going to be good and have positive seasons. But I said the Cardinals were going to miss the playoffs, and only the Rams and the Seahawks. Watching these first 2 weeks, my gut reaction is that 49ers are going to miss the playoffs, and
Yeah,
the
that's what I
Rams
was-
and the Rams are going to be better than I thought.
I'm feeling I'm feeling you on the 49ers missing the playoffs now, especially with this wrath of injuries that they have and what I've seen out of the Cardinals in the first 2 weeks. So, yeah, I don't think you're far off base, but to get all 4 in would be really hard.
But dang it, when you're in the best division in football, baby, you can do it.
There you go, Steve.
You can do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet on that.
By the way, Adam Gase saying about the pulse thing, that was specifically about his wide receivers options.
Well, that's why I asked about you running. Steve.
I'm more of
That's why I
a
wanted
I'm
to
more
commentate.
I'm more of a tight end than I am
Well,
a
in this modern league of offense, Steve, the tight end is a wide receiver. Come on.
I
Don't
need
sell
to
yourself short.
I need to go to the end of the line and put my hand in the dirt and do all that. I can't just go out to the outside. I would die. It's like what? But I mean, the Giants signing. I always call him Morgan Freeman. I don't know why I can't get Devontae Freeman's name right ever in my life. But the Giants signing him to replace Saquon Barkley. Yeah, he's older. Yeah, he's not the young guy that Saquon is. But I think the Giants are going to be all right on running back wise. Now, like I said, he's not Saquon by any stretch. But I think the Giants are going to be all right with Freeman going in there in that spot to follow him up. So, again, might have to go with the Giants this week against the Niners, especially with him in there as a running back, assuming he doesn't pull a hammy in the
You're
first
really
game.
trying to sell yourself on this one, Steve. You're trying to talk yourself into it. I can feel it coming.
Probably. That's what I do.
Wrong, but I know, but you. Oh.
You think? Well, we'll find out this weekend.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Here's my favorite thing I want to say about the NFL and why coaches need to be fired is so Dan Quinn, I think, is going to be a good head coach in the league. My problem with him is he lost that Super Bowl. The Patriots, that's unacceptable. That is unacceptable on every level. It brings a stink into the locker room. It brings a whole thing, and they've continued to be bad since that Super Bowl. So they just need a culture change. He needs to go someplace else, have a culture change, both him and the Falcons organization. And the result of that on Sunday with the onside kick and Dallas coming back and tying and winning that game when they shouldn't have, again, means that just the Falcons need a culture change. Dan Quinn needs an opportunity someplace else because there's just a stink in that organization of losing in bad ways, and it needs to go away. The only way to purge it is to get rid of him. Here's the other reason why Dan Quinn needs to go. Well, give me your thoughts on that first, and I'm going to tell you why he needs to be fired immediately.
No, I agree with you, but you're always on this whole fire immediately thing, Steve, and it's
been 3 years, Adam. What the heck are you talking about?
Just to fire him, Steve. They're not going to do it.
You fire
don't
him.
See coaches get fired in the NFL during the year.
You fire him because you're god awful and you lose games you shouldn't lose. Here's the other reason. As I'm chewing on candy, I apologize. Here's the other reason why he needs to go. For the Falcons to have any success, the stench of losing and not playing basic football rules, like recovering an onside kick. Did you see what he said?
That they know. Well, is this the one where he called out, where he said that they know better?
Okay, so he said that, which was a joke, right?
Right.
Obviously, they don't know better because they didn't do it. So they didn't know. Name another team that when an onside kick happens and that happens to them, name another team that does what the Falcons did. Give me one. Give me one example of this happening to any other team. Name one. I'll give it to you. Name one.
The under 70-pound youth.
No, even Pop Warner kids because they practice it. So this tells me the Falcons don't practice onside kicks. They don't value the importance of it, and it cost them this game, right?
Yeah, it did cost them the game.
So Quinn is lying. They don't know better. And the reason why you know they don't know better is because there were 11 players on that field that could have touched that ball at any point in time, and they didn't know they could. That is why you know.
Do you think they looked around and said, "Well, Joe's not going after it.
That's why.
I'm not gonna go after it."
That's why you know none of them knew what to do in that situation, and that's why you know Dan Quinn is lying. They did not know what they should do in that situation. They may know that they can recover the ball. They may know the rules of it, but they didn't know what their team's rules are on recovering an onside kick. The hands team, Adam, the team responsible for recovering onside kicks, didn't know what to do and what their head coach wanted them to do in that situation.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
We're not talking about the defense was out there in a weird situation and didn't know what to do. Matt Ryan's not out there trying to figure out what to do because he's not involved in that. We're talking about the one people's job is to recover an onside kick. That is their job to do it. And they had no clue what to do.
Steve, I need you to do this.
No. I'm not done yet. Let me finish. So Dan Quinn to come out this week and say all the stuff he said this week is pure and utter bull crap because they didn't know what to do. They had no clue what to do, and it's probably because the head coach does not practice it in practice and things like that. Dan Quinn assures that his players knew the rule and they were coached properly. Well, the reason why you're lying is because they weren't coached properly. Because name another team that the hands team doesn't know what to do. You may go after that ball and miss it, right? You may touch it and it goes to the other team. Like anything like they stood around and watched that ball just lay on the turf. So you can't tell me that the players were coached properly. Because nobody does that unless you're told to. Or you don't practice it. And either way is egregious. Are you following me on this part?
No, I follow you 100%, Steve. I haven't disagreed with you on this.
Then, on Monday, Arthur Blank, the owner of the Falcons, after Dan Quinn said they were coached properly, you jerk, and they assured his players knew the rule. For those of you not following on video, Adam just put a Falcons background on there. The owner, Arthur Blank, pointed to the video to show that the players weren't instructed well. The owner goes, I know you all can see this video. You guys know I can see this video. Dan Quinn says they were coached properly, but let's all watch this video that y'all have been ripping us about for 24 hours now about how we don't know what we're doing out there. Dan Quinn says we do. But I'm watching the same video you guys are watching. Of course, I'm paraphrasing what he's saying. And he says, I'm watching the same video you guys are watching, and we have no clue what to do here. The players are not coached properly in this situation. So even the owner is like, Dan Quinn's a big freaking liar right now. Okay? Then
and Dan Quinn probably won't have a job at the end of the year.
Then
do you have a job this week?
Well, I know, and I'm not saying you fired Dan Quinn now. I know I say that like jokingly, but I mean he's got to go at the end of the season. He needed to go at the end of last season. He needed to go at the end of those season. They've been bad since. But then he doubles down at that point, right? On Wednesday, Quinn attempted to mesh his viewpoint with the interpretation of his boss. So now Quinn's been caught in this lie that everybody knows is a lie. And now Quinn's like, oh, bottom line is, it was an unconventional play, Adam, is what Quinn said. Oh,
no, it was
an onside kick.
Normal onside kick.
The ball spun differently, but it was an onside kick. Everybody and their dogs, my dog Lily, who's a year and a half and doesn't watch football, knows you go get the ball. You touch the ball. You get it. You don't let the other team get it. I know because I play fetch with her all the time, and I can't get the ball from her because she knows instinctively, get the ball. But the Falcons players don't. Then he says, so bottom line, it was an unconventional play, unquote. Those cause you to hesitate. Whether it's a misdirection play or a trick play that causes you to not trust your eyes and what you are seeing. Explain this to me. Explain it to me. I'm giving you the opportunity, Adam, because you tell me that Dan Quinn does not need to be fired, and I'm going off of his own words, and he's lying. He's making stuff up. He can't win a game when he's got a big lead. Something's wrong with this guy, and it's getting worse. Then he says, quote, Adam, although, however, it comes out in how Arthur and I disagreed about how to talk about it. That's because the owner wanted to come out and say, you're a jackass head coach that doesn't coach your players properly in basic football. And Dan Quinn's mad because the owner came out and said what the rest of the freaking world knows about you, Dan Quinn. And you're mad because your owner didn't stand up and lie like you do. That's why Dan Quinn is mad. Oh, me and Arthur disagreed about how to talk about it. I wanted him to lie and protect my stupidity and my lack of coaching, but the owner wanted to come out and call me a God-forsaken idiot like all you guys are doing. And we disagree about how we should have handled that. You like my...
I can't. No? I can't argue with you. I want to argue with
I know.
you. I want to take the opposite side.
I'm setting up this whole story. I'm setting up this whole story with my little fun stuff on there. But then the Falcons special team coordinator's like, oh, hold on. Dan Quinn looks like a freaking buffoon right now because he's got his head so far up his butt and he thinks people are believing him. And even the owner's calling him out. So the Falcons special team coordinator goes, it's ultimately my responsibility for the poor play. So now the Falcons special teams coordinator is saying, we didn't handle that properly. I didn't teach my players properly. Dan Quinn's like, oh, they were taught properly. We did everything correct. There's nothing wrong. Nothing to see here. And the owner and now the special teams coordinator is saying, it's my fault. The players weren't ready for the poor play and everything. He says, quote, I'm responsible for everything the unit does and fails to do. It's something that was looked at. We made the corrections, talked to the players, and we'll do a better job and look forward to Sunday's opportunity. If the players were coached properly the first time, why are you now coaching them on how to do it? Adam, explain this to me. Explain Dan Quinn's lying to us.
Well, he's not going to come out and say I'm an idiot, Steve.
He needs to.
But he
opened his mouth and made it clear he's a freaking moron. He should have kept his mouth shut, and we would probably think higher of him. So now that he's made himself open his mouth and looks like an idiot, he might as well just come out and go, look, guys, I'm a freaking moron. I'm a horrible head coach. I sucked at training my team on basic concepts. I tried to blame everybody else. It's obvious by the film. I'm a stupid moron. And I lost this game because I didn't train my players on basic football plays. And then we'd all let it go. But he can't do it.
Wow.
So, with that, Adam.
I don't know how to transition from there.
No, I'm not done. All that interpretation and story set up this. Dan Quinn now comes out yesterday. And these are his exact words. And this is infuriating to me. Dan Quinn says, quote, onside kick failure should not happen again, unquote. Should not is not the words you use right there. It's making it sound like, well, I'm not sure my players are going to do what we told them again. No, that onside kick failure will not happen again. Onside kick failure will never happen again. Onside kick failure will not ever happen in my lifetime on one of my coach teams ever again. He's leaving a caveat in there that it should not happen again. The guy's a moron. The guy's a stupid idiot. I thought he was a good head coach and just had some bad luck. The guy is proving to be a complete flippin' moron, and it drives me nuts. And it's just more thing that he's a horrible head coach, and he needs to move on after the season because he doesn't know what he's doing out there, and he doesn't know how to handle situations when they go bad like that, and he's showing it this week. I had to put my Nagy rant aside for Dan Quinn this week, Adam. You're lucky.
Jeez, I'm thankful that Dan Quinn stepped in it for this week for sure. Gave my boy Matt Nagy a pass because wow, there's some venom coming out of that mic. That microphone's on fire.
If you remember last year, I was fine with Nagy until he started blaming his players, and that's when I started going off on him, which is what Dan Quinn is doing here. And when head coaches start doing this stuff, they've lost control and they need to go. Because this is basic football. You learn this in day one of football coaching. You learn this day one as a player. And when you start breaking these rules, you're done. You're over your head, and it's time to move on. And that's all I'm presenting out there is that Dan Quinn is over his head. He needs a change of scenery. He needs to find something else to do for a while. He needs to get his head on straight, and he needs to learn basic rules of football and not blame his players because the play was confusing, Adam. It's only confusing if you've never practiced it and you've never addressed it and you haven't told your players. The players that are supposed to be in there, I guarantee you he's talked to his safety every time he blows a big play. I guarantee you he pulls that safety aside and corrects him and tells him what he should have done and what to do next time, right?
Yep, I'm not going to say that.
I'm pretty sure in practice when they discuss their upcoming thing, I'm pretty sure he talks to his team and says, hey guys, this is what we do in these situations. I'm pretty sure that happens in practice, right?
Yep.
But obviously it doesn't happen on special teams. And then you blame the players. And then you get mad at your owner because the owner and you have a disagreement on how to handle it because the owner tells the truth that you're a flippin' moron. Anyway, Dan Quinn on my list of head coaches that need to be fired because they are over their head and all of that. You're welcome, Adam.
List.
Well, it's
Brought
when
to
you're
you by List R Us.
Well, when you're bad at what you do, you deserve it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, we went long. It's an hour 23. I know you got to go. I didn't break
Yep,
at the
my,
I didn't break at the
My
hour
Uber
mark
thing
because
says
of
I have
that.
a ride I have to go take care of. So
Right?
I gotta go Uber.
Yeah, take somebody to the airport. So, Adam, where can everybody reach you at? I'm going to continue. I'm going to talk a little basketball, hockey, and NASCAR real quick for like the next 30 minutes or so. So, where can everybody reach you at, Adam?
Reach me at AdamMichaels05 on Twitter.
Sweet. All right. I will see you on Monday then. Have a good weekend.
See ya.
Bye. So we covered the Major League Baseball, and of course we covered Adam and NFL this weekend, previewing this weekend and everything. And let me get my screen back up here. Excuse me, since Adam is now gone. So let's get I turned the air down in here, and it's a little hot now after my little Dan Quinn is an awful human being head coach rant there. And whatnot. But college football's this week, guys. I know it's been going on for a couple weeks, and it's been a weird year, right, where hasn't been very good games coming up. We've seen some Sun Belt conferences beat Big 12 teams, like Kansas State lost earlier this year. But this is like the first weekend where we get to see some big name teams really playing on there. So it's just kind of hidden. You don't hear a lot of people talking college football these days because of all these issues. So I definitely wanted to talk. I mean, you have number 23 Kentucky playing number 8 Auburn this weekend. Obviously, in normal times, I'd expect Auburn to blow Kentucky out here. I'm not expecting them not to this weekend by any stretch. I'm still expecting it to happen as it goes on there. Of course, the Notre Dame game was canceled this weekend due to some COVID positives. But I mean, you got some new head coaches in Mississippi this year. Mississippi State's playing at LSU this weekend. If you're interested in that, you're just wondering how I get confused which coach is at which Mississippi school. So Lane Kiffin's at one, and the Pirate guy Mike is at the other one, and I get them confused. But if you're interested in seeing how they handle that as the new head coaches there, Texas is playing Texas Tech this weekend. Number 22 Army is playing number 14 Cincinnati. Oklahoma State, who looked really bad on offense last week, is still ranked 15. I don't know why. They looked really bad last week. It's got West Virginia this weekend on there. Alabama, for those of you following the top teams, has Missouri this weekend, at Missouri no less, this weekend. I don't expect anything but a blowout in that, but you never know. Texas A&M's got Vanderbilt this weekend. Number 12 Miami's got Florida State. I believe Florida State lost last weekend to a really bad team. So, obviously, Florida State has some recruiting issues from their previous head coaches, things like that. So, I don't expect anything from Florida State this year. But the interesting thing is Tennessee is ranked 16, and they got South Carolina on their schedule this week. Of course, is undefeated. But South Carolina is a tough team in that SEC. They always play teams tough. Doesn't mean they always win. But they definitely play people tough. So, are we going to see some upsets this weekend? With deal. So Notre Dame Wake Forest was canceled this weekend, or postponed. Excuse me. Tulsa Arkansas State was postponed this weekend. South Florida and Florida Atlantic are postponed this weekend. And South Florida went ahead and postponed this game because they played Notre Dame last weekend, and then all these 12 or 14 Notre Dame players ended up getting COVID. So South Florida has kind of self-imposed their deal there. North Texas and Houston. Houston has been hit hard with this, and so they postponed several of their games this year already. So I don't know what's going on in Houston at that university in terms of these outbreaks, but they cannot get it under control, and they're missing another game this weekend. So we're still waiting to hear from the Pac-12. They are supposed to be meeting today regarding their, redoing their schedule. Rumor on the street is, from sources, is that they're going to vote to restart football in about 6 weeks is when the first games will be. So starting beginning of November. 9-3 is going to be the vote. Stanford, Cal, and UCLA are supposedly the three that are going to vote against playing. Stanford and Cal think they're a higher level school. They think they're kind of like an Ivy League type school on there. I understand that in the Bay Area, and then UCLA kind of surprises me, but they also think they're a high class school down there, and in Southern California. But they're going to vote to replay now, so now it's getting ready to start. It's going to start at the end of November. From what I was reading, it's expected for Arizona State to have 3 home games and 4 away games this year. No info obviously on fans or anything like that, but as soon as I get that, because obviously I'm a Sun Devil season ticket holder with my dad, so if we get info on that, I'll pass that along as well. But so 3 home games, 4 road games this year. It's just, I don't know. It's just weird starting the season in November when they could have started it earlier. I'm just so disappointed in the leadership of this. Not that they canceled it, not that they're restarting it. It's just they can't make up their mind. They're disheveled everywhere. They're not making any sense. They're flat out lying to us about stuff. They're not telling everybody the truth. They're hiding behind other things. And I think there needs to be a full-fledged investigation. These state boards, like the Board of Regents in Arizona, needs to look at the leadership at Arizona State University and to a lesser extent U of A, but let's do it equally. Same thing in California. They need to be looked at because Oregon, Washington, they need to be looked at. There's serious leadership issues at universities who are training our youth to be the next citizens and leaders in this country, and they're pulling this stuff where there's just something not right in the sports world, the school world right now. If they're mismanaging the sports this badly, imagine what they're doing to the student side and the education side, which is their main purpose. And there's something stinky going on here. I'm not saying it's criminal. I'm just saying it's bad leadership. And if there's a place to really study this and improve the leadership condition and improve where we are with leadership, this is the time to do it and everything. Michael Crow's been at Arizona State for thousands of years. It seemed like he's been there as long as I went. I graduated in '99, and he's been there long before when I was there. And maybe it's time to maybe look at options and see if it's being run properly. Do a little investigation on the leadership level, because just this Larry Scott situation, he's awful. They're giving out bonuses to himself. And I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. It might be in the contracts. But then again, the leadership has set up those contracts in that way, and it looks really bad. And it's just disappointing. I have more respect right now for the SEC, the ACC, those schools for doing what they think is right, being transparent with playing, coming out and saying, hey, we don't think that this myocarditis or whatever heart condition. If you notice, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten aren't even talking about this heart condition that they blamed on quitting football. That heart condition hasn't gone away. Testing has improved, they say. That testing was available when they canceled. It was coming out. They knew it was coming down the pipeline. And they still went ahead and canceled it. They went ahead and canceled it, which is fine. Cancel it. I said all along, cancel it if you don't want to play. Cancel it if you have reasons for canceling. But then tell us why. Tell us those reasons. Show us those reasons. They kept it close to their vest. So much so, I saw the Oregon State president come out and say, the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, they're just being deadly right now. They're being irresponsible was the word he used. They're not following the data, and they're going to kill kids. He flat out said that in there, and it turns out he's wrong. Turns out that was a bullshit crap story. Excuse my language. It turns out he's flat out lying to us on why they canceled this season. That's what's infuriating about this. And then, Big Ten comes back and says they want to play football. They meet last Friday, I think. Then they say, we're going to meet again on Thursday. There's no urgency to do anything. The leadership is poor in this conference. Not just the sports side, guys. The university side as well. And if they're running the sports side this horribly wrong, and they're letting Larry Scott get away with the stuff he's getting away with, if they're letting him mismanage the TV thing, if they're letting all of that stuff happen, what's happening to the law program at these universities? What's happening at the science programs in these universities? There needs to be an investigation here. Not to see how bad the wrongdoing is, but we need to figure out what's going on in these universities and improve it. This is an embarrassment to these universities. I'm a proud alumnus of Arizona State University. A lot of us are out there. A lot of you are Arizona fans. I have a bunch of friends that went to USC. I have a bunch of friends that went to UCLA. A couple of friends that went to Stanford. and we're all just embarrassed. We're all sitting around going, what are we doing? What is wrong here? Why do we have no leadership? Why are we not proud to associate ourselves with these conferences because they have their heads so far up their butt and they're just flat out lying to us right now? It's just infuriating. And these guys are supposed to be training the youth of America to become our next leaders, and it's just insulting. So I said it on the Blender on Wednesday with a little rant, kind of ranting right now, but it just needs to be done. Well, they're supposedly they're coming back and playing, which is fine. Like I said, I could take it or leave it, to be honest with you. I'd like to see him play, but it's super weird now. Because normally they're wrapping up in third week of November. You have the rivalry games after Thanksgiving. Now they're just starting. They'll be 3 weeks in. They'll still be playing in December, trying to squeeze 7 games in supposedly. So we'll see what they say there. So Mikkel on the line says Army Cincy is the toughest game for him to pick this week. Go Army! My issue I have with the academies now, I have watched 0 college football this year. Literally 0. I don't even think I've seen a highlight. I know what some of the scores are because I looked those up. But that's how little I've had interest in college football this year, partly because you forget about it. There's no hype for it whatsoever this year because all the games aren't that strong. There's no strong games. There's no games to look forward to. The other part of it is there's no football around us right now. So it's been one of those things where it's kind of been a secondary thing for me. Now I'm also waiting for these conferences, like when the SEC starts playing each other. The good schools start playing the good schools. That's going to be great to watch, when that comes up. And I'll pay attention at that point. I'll be watching those games. But the problem I always have with picking the military schools, for instance, is just that they run the weirdest offenses. You just can't get a figure on how they go on there. But Cincy's a pretty good team. You're absolutely right, McKelly. They run an unconventional offense there as well and everything. But you're absolutely right. Can they... is their defense going to be able to hold up against that Army offense is the question on that one. Of course, you say go Army. I don't have allegiance to either school. I just like to see the military schools win a lot of the time. Of course, unless they're playing my teams, just because it's good for those kids. Because let's face it, it's a whole different environment that those kids have elected to go to school and play football. And you got to root for them. That's my opinion on that. So definitely by far. So it's college football this weekend. I'll post the schedule up at the Main Event Pod like I've been doing. For those of you, so you won't have to look it up. It'll pop up on your feed. For you guys, my BYU friends out there, they are playing Troy this weekend, which should be a win for BYU. It's nice to see them ranked at 18. Of course, we'll see. The rankings are all messed up this year because, once the Big Ten starts playing here, another month we're still out on the Big Ten starting, then obviously they'll start implementing and going into the ranking system as well. So I think the Pitt-Louisville game is going to be a really good game this weekend. I consider both these schools secondary schools. It's not something I would normally watch on a weekend of college football. But if you're just looking for some exciting football, I think that's going to be a great game. Of course, Pitt's ranked 21, Louisville's 24. Out there, but I think that's going to be a solid matchup this weekend, and it's being played in Pittsburgh at the Steelers' home stadium. What's that called? Heinz Field, I believe, if I'm off the top of my head properly, which I could be wrong on that. So that's college football this weekend. For those of you that are interested in college football and enjoy watching it, finally some good games are starting to come out here. It's been really sloppy so far. Like I said, we've seen some upsets that you never see. That Appalachian State, I forget who they played last weekend. I saw the final on that one, and then I read a little bit about it. It looked like it was a really good game. I was actually kind of bummed I missed it. So on there. So the other thing here, obviously last night, hockey. We talked about it on the radio show last night. The Tampa Bay Lightning just blew out the Dallas Stars last night. Stamkos came back for the Lightning. I kind of expected this to happen last night. I thought Tampa Bay kind of woke up in game 2. 2, I thought once they get to the Dallas goaltender and kind of break that magic he had over the net for the last couple of series, I thought that they would kind of fall a little bit. And they got slaughtered last night, let's be honest. It was a blowout by far. And I expect more of that, especially because game 4 is it game 4? Yeah, because it's 2-1 Tampa Bay right now. So game 4 is tomorrow night. Game 5 is Saturday morning. Quick turnaround for these two. I'm expecting this series to wrap up here 5. If it goes 6 games, I will be a little surprised, but I am expecting it to wrap up here soon with the obviously Tampa Bay Lightning winning the Stanley Cup this year. And you got to give it to the Stars. They put on a great performance in this series. Nobody had them picked. Not even the Stars had themselves picked going into this. So it was great to watch them. And I love it when a goalkeeper gets hot like he did. I love it when a team gets hot out of the blue like that. And that's why the NHL and the National Hockey League hockey is so great to watch. I absolutely love it 1,000%. No doubt about it. So last thing I want to talk about today is we don't cover it a lot here on this show, partly because of COVID, a lot of other stuff going on and everything. But those of you that follow me and Gestalt Production, of course, you guys know we recorded the dirt track out here at Arizona Speedway, get all those races. We do Central Arizona Speedway when we have time as well, and then Canyon Speedway when they're up and running. They have an event there that we can cover. But I'm obviously in the racing scene. I enjoy the racing. I enjoy the aspects of it there. But NASCAR, keep an eye on that. I follow that as well. I generally cover it when they're on the West Coast swings. Of course, I don't travel across the country. I'm definitely not one of those guys with them. But, we talked about last week the playoff picks where Adam actually surprisingly picked well. I only got one of my guys right to move on. So this round's going to be a little tough for me also if I struggled in the first round. But the playoff 12, their first races this weekend. 3 more races, and then they'll narrow it down to 8 teams on there. But this weekend it's in Vegas. Vegas is a fun little track to race. It's Kyle and Kurt Busch's home track. They're from that area, and they enjoy racing at that track. They're very familiar with that track. Kyle Busch has not won a race this year. Of course, last week he had an opportunity. He was in the front 2. Didn't pass the guy. Of course, blamed the lap cars because that's what Kyle Busch does. When he doesn't win, it's always somebody else's problem, whether it's his pit crew's problem or it's the lap cars that he can't race around. For those of you that follow me and hear my rants on this is lap cars have one job to do, and that's to stay out of the way. So if a lap car picks a lane and stays in it, I don't care what they do. I don't care if it's the right lane or wrong lane, quote unquote, by the rules. If they stay in a lane to where you know where they're going to be, it's your job to drive around them. And that's what the kids did that Kyle Busch had to pass. He just didn't like it because the kid was up high. He wanted to be in that spot, so he couldn't pass the way he wanted to, and that's why he was upset. It ain't that kid's job to know what lane you want him in. I understand that you want to be lower when you're cars, so they have more. The racers have more of the track, but there were extenuating circumstances when it came late in the race where he couldn't get down because other guys were below him and passing him and stuff like that. So, but basically, as a driver, it's your job to get out of your job to get around the pace cars, the cars you're lapping. And stop blaming them. It's your job to do it. If you're in the lead and you're that good of a driver with your speed and all of that, you can get around them. And if you need to blame them to make yourself feel better on why you lost your race, fine. Blame them. Look like a pompous ass. I don't care. It's you, not me. It just looks petty and ridiculous in my opinion. And I understand why he's mad too. I'm totally on his side on that too. Is why did that guy get out of my way? I understand his side of it too. But I personally wouldn't vocalize. Most drivers don't vocalize it in public. They probably go to their trailers and comment about it. They probably have a conversation with that driver or the spotters talk up top. I just hate it when they take it public because not only that, Kyle Busch is such a driver, future Hall of Fame driver, and it just looks petty that he's picking on kids that aren't as good as him, that are fairly new in the sport. And he's knocking down to them like, I'm better than you. You better get out of my. It just comes off that way. And that's just not a good look. That's just not a good look for somebody in his position. And that's why I'm a little bit disappointed by it. But can Kyle Busch this weekend get out there and have a good race again and finish in the top? Of course, earlier this year he struggled at Vegas, didn't win it when they raced there. And can they, can he go out there and do something? Can he get a win this season and lock in a top 8 playoff spot as it goes on there? Of course, the other big news in NASCAR this weekend was Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin are starting a race team, which is big news in its own right Because one, you get Michael Jordan into the NASCAR racing, which is huge news. And of course, Denny Hamlin is a top driver in the league, has a chance to win the championship there, races for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's going to continue to race for Joe Gibbs Racing. But he's planning his future outside of racing, which tells you he's only got a year or two left that he wants to race and is going to be able to race. But they also picked Bubba Wallace as their driver. So Bubba Wallace is going to join them and be their driver. I'm not the biggest Bubba Wallace fan in terms of racetrack driving. I don't get into that off the track stuff with the social justice and things like that. We all have our opinions on that. This isn't the show to cover that. To be honest with you, I in terms of the actual sports side of it, it doesn't affect anything. He has picked up sponsors because of it, which is great because Bubba Wallace needs sponsors. I want to see what Bubba Wallace can do with good equipment. Because let's face it, Richard Petty Motorsports isn't the best equipment out there. It's a struggle. And this year he's done really well, actually. A lot of top 10 finishes, a lot of top 15 finishes this year. And he's done really well this year because in years past, he had anxiety issues, which a lot of us can relate to. And he struggled out there on the track. So it was good to see him come around this year and kind of find his voice. I feel like finding his voice on these social justice issues has actually helped him out a lot on the racetrack. It's given him a little bit more confidence to get out there, speak his mind, and be a voice, a positive voice out there for young kids and young racers and things like that. So I'm excited to see. The question that I have, of course, is they're going to, they bought a charter, which you need to drive a full-time in deal in NASCAR and everything. But the question I have is, so they're going to have the money in there, but ownership money. I mean, look at Richard Haas, right? The guy's a billionaire and doesn't always put the best race cars out there on the racetrack. Sponsorships drive this sport. So obviously Bubba Wallace brings some pretty big name sponsors these days. McDonald's, I'm forgetting all the other big name ones, but he's got a bunch of them there. So moving forward, so I'm interested in seeing what they do. I think an infusion of a high power, big name ownership team like this is big for the sport because let's face it, a lot of these guys that have been in NASCAR for 15, Wood Brothers is going away, Go Fast Racing is kind of going away, or is going away. They bought the charter from I forget who that was, but they bought the charter from another low level team, and I'm interested in seeing where this goes. Now, it's not going to be something where everybody's like excited because Michael Jordan is going to own it. Denny Hamlin's not going to be hands on with this race team. He's got his own team he's got to deal with Joe Gibbs Racing while he's there. The other side of it is Joe Gibbs, when he lends his, basically it's a Joe Gibbs starter team kind of a deal. When they lend their equipment to him, they lend some knowledge to him. Those teams generally don't do too well. They don't get up there. They don't perform very well. They've been quite disappointing for the most part under there. So is this going to be another case of a Joe Gibbs, quote-unquote, under team not being able to perform to standards and stay up there and race? But it's always good to have new money in the team and new money into the sport. And hopefully this team's definitely going to have a voice unlike any other with Michael Jordan being the owner and Bubba Wallace as the driver. So be interesting to see going into next year. Obviously, it's a next year issue moving forward. Be interesting to see how it goes when they go that route. Of course, my bigger question is how is Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan always golfing together and they're such good buds? How does that happen? I know. Growing up in North Carolina, I knew Michael Jordan was a NASCAR fan and he's followed it. I'm always interested in how guys like that become friends because they do operate in other circles for the most part. As far as I know and what you see from the side. So, and then of course the next gen cars been pushed back to its debut in 2022 now. So that's not even coming out next year. So what we see next year, because that's what's spurring a lot of this new ownership interest. A lot of these guys that have been around for a lot of years on the lower end have put tons of money into the cars. They've struggled to compete with the car levels and things that support the technology of these cars. And the next gen cars in 2022 now, it's supposed to come out last year, but with COVID, they pushed it back, is supposed to level the playing field a little bit in NASCAR. So you're seeing a lot of new people show interest in the sport and want to get into the sport now in terms of ownership, because supposedly a lot of those costs are going to come down, and it's not as imperative to have just the big name guys in order to survive out there on the racetracks. So, of course, this weekend, as I said, is Vegas, the first race of the round of 12. I don't know what they officially call them. I just go by the numbers. So, if it's good enough for me, I guess it's good enough for this show, right? On there. So I appreciate y'all tuning in today. Obviously, Adam had to leave a little bit early. You can reach him at Adam Michaels 05. I'm at SMAC 500 as always. At the Main Event Pod is where we do our announcements on the show. We put out the stories that we see in terms of stories that we want to put out there. Kind of make your. We kind of gone back and forth at the beginning. We were posting a lot, several times a day, basically a couple an hour, 3 an hour or so. And it was just a lot of posting. And so we kind of scaled that back a little bit, stuck with important news breaking stuff. And we'll try to find the happy medium there. So if you got any feedback on that, definitely reach out as well. I'll have the post of the all access crew. I'll have interns and Mikkel's picks up this week. Of course, me, Adam, and Kaler's picks will be up as well. If you're on the Gridiron Pick'em for 1580, don't forget to go to 1580 The Fanatic before tonight's game and pick Thursday's game by far. Of course, we'll be back on Monday, 1 o'clock Phoenix time, 3 o'clock Chicago time. Review Week 3 this weekend. Preview the Monday Night Football game that we are all looking forward to, of course. We're really excited on that. And my Cardinals Rewind will be posted later on today, tonight. I'm doing it after we get off the show here and check it out and get that all posted. So obviously I'll have that up for you guys that want to follow the Cardinals and my thoughts on the Cardinals. Quick little 30-minute podcast for the most part. Last week was an hour roughly, but that's because I installed the Bruce St. James interview from my 1580 The Radio Show, 1580 The Fanatic. I put that on the end of it, and that was about 20 minutes long, so I added that onto the backside. So it does come up an hour, but I put that last for a reason. You can just turn it off if you've already heard it and didn't want to listen to it again. So that will be out later today as well. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I'll get these up. Obviously, watch the replay on Twitter or on Facebook. I'll get this up on the podcast, of course, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, GesaltProduction.com. Click on the main event there, and all the podcasts come up there as well. So we will see you all on Monday. In the meantime, see y'all on the social medias. Y'all have a great day.